Hey guys, Tomboy601, and today we got the Worcester. A little bit late on the upload, my apologies. Three reviews in a row of ships uh, takes a toll. Usually, ship reviews keep me up to at least past midnight, and doing that 3 nights in the in a row, not exactly tenable. So I do apologize for the late upload on this one, but hey, it's happening now, and that's the important thing. So, Worcester, she is a legendary ship. The ship was provided to me by Wargaming as a rental. I get her for the week. Of course, we also had her for several months in the legendary test event, but right now, she is a rental for me. She'll be taken away at the end of the week, and then I'll have to earn her back, and that's the way the cookie crumbles. Instead of doing comment of the day today, we're going to go ahead and I'm just going to promote the fact that the next batch of Twitch Prime loot is up. You get 8 standard crates, 16 camos, and 8 boosters of what's up here. Like, it's decent. If you have Twitch Prime, you have, or if you have Amazon Prime, you have Twitch Prime, you can go ahead and claim it. I'll leave the link down in the description below. If you don't have Amazon Prime, I'll also leave a link to sign up for Amazon Prime, and you can go ahead and do that to claim this free loot. So, with all of that said, let's go ahead and dive on into the Worcester, and we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to go ahead and dive on into the build and then talk the stats. So, looking right here, we have, as far as the mods go, we have aiming system mod 1, propulsion mod, steering gears mod, and then main battery mod, and that gives a decent all-around boost to the ship. Propulsion mod, just because this is still sort of an island hopper type of ship, and you will want to be able to get that acceleration as quick as possible. Steering gears will help you avoid some shots, and also be able to let you tank some things when you're out in open water. And then, of course, the other 2 main battery sort of mods, just to increase that main battery. Commander we're using? Well, we're going to be using Norman Scott. His base rate is going to increase shell grouping of a main cruiser. Inspirations we're using are Makawa and Mimbelli, just to help with getting that DPM up as much as possible. Inspirations, we're going to use Burn It Down XXL and Igniter to boost HE chance. Then Armed and Ready, which is going to give us essentially Ingenious. It gives us how many people are aiming at us, and also increases fire dispersion, or increases dispersion, incoming dispersion. Then Fixated, which is going to help with dispersion for us. And then finally, I found myself running EOP for the Worcester, just because there is a lot of fairly well-armored ships out there, and I was shattering like crazy when I was not using EOP. So though we have to give up half the fire chance, and we kind of built the top half of the build around that fire chance, I did find that still the 7.5% fire chance that we end up getting is well worth it. As far as other stuff on the ship, consumables, we do have a damage control party. It's going to last 5 seconds and reload in 60 seconds. We have sonar, and that can be exchanged out for the improved AA, though I think sonar is definitely the better play here. 3.1 detection on torpedoes, 4.4 kilometer detection on ships, 96-second length on the sonar, and a reload time of 180 seconds, and you get 2 charges. Sonar or radar, you can also switch it out with a catapult fighter, though I think, once again, radar is going to be the better of the choice. You get the 9-kilometer radar with a 30-second duration on it. Reload time is 180 seconds, and you get 2 charges. Finally, repair party. It's going to heal you for 226 damage. It's going to last 28 seconds. Reload time is going to be 80 seconds, and you're going to get 2 charges, and that is the consumables. Finally, let's get on into the stats of the ship. Worcester has 45,400 HP with an armor thickness between 6 and 20 millimeters. If we go ahead and look at the armor view, the most important thing that you need to know about Worcester is she has a 32 millimeter bow, which means when angled, she can go ahead and protect herself from pretty much anything except Yamato. And that does become an issue because you are a legendary tier ship, and Yamato's legendary tier. And let me tell you, the number of Yamatos you see out there, fairly high amount. Yamato's been out there for a while, and you're going to see Yamato. The other big issue with Worcester is her Citadel. It sits just out of the waterline. So if you fail to angle, you will be dev struck, and it will be game over. Beyond that, she does have 19% torpedo reduction. She has 6 two-barreled 152mm guns with a firing range of 15.3 kilometers. Reload time on the guns, 5.2 seconds, giving us a shells per minute of 141. 180 time on those, 8.3 seconds, and they do 1,848 damage per shell, giving us a DPM of 260,568, which does sound impressive, but it does not match up to the Tier 7 Cleveland, which actually beats it out, which is kind of surprising. Fire chance when we're using EOP, 7.5%. AP damage, 3,200, giving us a DPM of 451,200. She does not have any secondary firing, nor does she have any torpedoes. She does, however, being that she was designed to be an AA cruiser, have really good AA. Max range is going to be 6 kilometers with a damage at 76 damage per second. And then the minimum range of the AA is going to be 2 kilometers. And when it hits that 2 kilometer ring, it will be doing 495 damage per second. Max speed of the ship, 33 knots, with a turning radius of 750 meters, which is, you know, a little wide for a ship. Then the rudder shift time, we've gotten it down to 5.5 seconds. Detectability by sea is going to be 12 kilometers. Detectability by air, 7.3. And finally, detectability when firing in smoke, 6.3. As we talked about previously, Worcester was designed to be an AA ship. She was laid down in 1945 at the end of World War II. She didn't enter service until after the war in 1948, and as such, doesn't really have a large service record. And being an anti-aircraft ship, the service record mainly consists of being in battle groups in order to protect carriers. That's the doctrine of the time, is to protect the carrier, and the biggest threat to a carrier is other aircraft. Hence, that's what she's mainly known for. As far as the description in the game, designed as an AA cruiser with dual-purpose 152mm guns, though classified as a light cruiser, ships of this class had increased displacement and dimensions compared with the Baltimore-class heavy cruisers. The main twin turrets were equipped with advanced autoloaders, substantially increasing the rate of fire, and Worcester is one of 2. So that's the history of the ship. She did have some history within operations, but as I was reading through it, it didn't seem like anything too notable in her service record. So with all of that said, let's now go ahead and talk through a game in this ship. So we are here on Sea of Fire, and while we sail ahead to that middle island, which is going to be kind of where we set up shop for the beginning bit of this match, let's just go ahead and talk my thoughts on the Worcester. When she was in rental, I absolutely loved her, and not much has changed in the game since then. She hasn't really changed much at all, though I did find myself more struggling to play her in during this time. It might just be the meta that has changed. It might just be the players that have changed. It might just be the ships that have changed. People have gotten more experienced in legendary ships, and therefore it's not as easy to mow down people in a legendary tier. Fletcher pops up, and we're going to go ahead and start engaging him. Of course, the beauty of the Worcester, all of those guns, and you can go ahead and do some pretty significant damage. You don't want to be caught out when you're in a flimsy destroyer with the Worcester. We do also have another battleship. We have the Richelieu right on over there. We're going to go ahead and Hermit Crab the smoke from our lightning. Unfortunately, it's a lightning, so that means it's not going to last long, and we're just going to thread the needle here on those torpedoes, and we beautifully dodge those, and we'll take the relatively short duration smoke to go ahead and engage this Richelieu with no problem. Of course, EOP making sure that we are easily able to penetrate deck and superstructure armor, and we are going to start chunking away at the damage on the Richelieu. So as he runs, let's continue talking about thoughts on the Worcester. It's very interesting to me where she falls within the tier, just because, like I was saying earlier, she doesn't out DPM the Cleveland, which makes it kind of weird that this is supposed to be like the ultimate ship of the HE slingers, but she doesn't out-damage the ships. We do take a tactical break right here to try to avoid some of these shells, and we do, I think, just take an overpen, thankfully. That is one of the weaknesses of the Worcester, is you are very vulnerable to Citadel shots when you are not angled, and we were definitely not angled there. Though if you do build the ship to be somewhat agile, to be able to turn in on longer range ships, you do have a nice ability to be able to kind of sail somewhat broadside, or at least broadside enough to get your guns on target. And then if you have a long range battleship, you have time to go ahead and turn in to angle correctly and hopefully not take too much of a damage. Now at this point, we are using our trigonomic brain, and we're like, oh, look at all that fire. It has to be coming from a Suzuya. That's 14 kilometers away. Yeah. This was my first match of a morning, and the brain wasn't 100% working, but I was like, oh, it must be a Suzuya firing, because there's no way any ship would stick that close. And then I start noticing the smoke and go, oh, wait, those destroyers have not moved out of what was their spawn, and it's now time for us to go ahead and make a play. It's going to be a dangerous one because there is a Vladivostok kind of looking down that sight line, but Richelieu here, we're going to be able to do some damage to him, get the turn in, and kind of damage him, and then be able to swing our guns and start damaging our other guys. We can see, once again, because of EOP, we are just chunking away, and once he takes that big hit, we know that our battleship for sure will be able to handle the rest of the Richelieu. So we're going to go ahead and swing our guns, and right as we're about to pop on the other side of this island, we're going to go ahead and pop our radar. We see the smoke there, so we know someone's sitting in it, and there's our Fletcher from earlier and a Shimakaze. So Fletcher first, since he has the least amount of health. Down he goes in one salvo. Next up comes Shimakaze. Shimakaze hasn't surprisingly fired its torpedoes yet, which I guess is, I don't know, but I'm sure they will come eventually. There they are. And now we have to go ahead and turn out and start dodging. There's two sets, so we just need to be on the lookout for one final set of torps, and we can see them in the water here. One thing that I've gotten better at recently, and it's because I've kind of had one of those epiphanies of like, oh, I've played this game now long enough to understand how to dodge torpedoes, is dodging torpedoes. So basically the idea is, if you are turning, you are not moving in a diagonal line, you're just rotating the ship. It's only once you let off the stick is when you're going to go ahead and start moving in a horizontal manner and actually start moving your ship in one direction or the other. If you want a full video on it, I'll probably make a video on the way I've come to understand how the ships maneuver in order to dodge torpedoes, because it's been a small epiphany for me, and I've quite enjoyed it. Anyways, we have now gotten out of firing range of the Vladivostok, and we thankfully dodged his one salvo that came at us. Thankfully, it did not hit us, and we need to start kind of looking at the map. So we could now start to try and long range shoot the Vladivostok and the Suzuya, though we can probably guess that that isn't really going to be very tenable. Or we can go ahead and look over and see that our base is contested. We have one battleship. There's a destroyer and a cruiser over there, and I think we know what the better play is. It's going to be to play defensive on this and go ahead and start heading towards our cap to protect the base. We do know somewhat where that destroyer is because the base is contested. We can pretty much guess where he is in the smoke, and we can also notice that there was just 15 torpedoes on the screen, which means that's going to be another Shimakaze. Amagi, thankfully, looks like he was able to avoid the majority of those torpedoes, and we're going to go ahead and sail towards this way. As far as gameplay goes, Worcester, she plays exactly like you would expect for a American light cruiser. I wanted to play a game where we really didn't stick in cover and show you guys that there are other ways to play the American ships rather than just sitting in cover, which is why I chose this game as opposed to one where I'm just behind an island burning down ships. Don't get me wrong, this ship can absolutely still do that, but I figured this was going to be a little bit more exciting of gameplay. Baltimore pops up, and we're going to go ahead and just start firing and trying to get the damage done on him. We are spotted, which tells us that Shimakaze is not sitting in his smoke. Baltimore is well through the smoke, so if he is not able to spot us, it is definitely the Shimakaze that has moved out of their smoke, but they are still contesting the cap, so he's somewhere within the cap circle. Balti is taking some pretty decent damage. Once again, EOP really helping us out there and letting us chew through his deck armor. Shimakaze, for some reason, decides to start firing its guns, which, I mean, I guess it'll distract us from firing on Baltimore, because we'll want to fire at the Shimakaze. And he is 10 kilometers, which means we are not going to be able to radar him if he goes ahead and drops spot. So we're just going to have to kind of keep that in mind. He dropped spot, so we're back to the Baltimore. And as we can see there, we weren't quite angled, and we did take a decent chunk from the Baltimore. Salvo's still going away, and we should be finishing off Baltimore relatively soon. And this is one of the things that Worcester is really powerful at. You know, it is a very high DPM ship, and if you can manage to start doing damage through ship's armor, then you're going to be doing a lot better. Shimakaze pops up once again, and now it's just a matter of running him down. He is starting to kind of close off his options. He has decided to kind of push all the way to the map exit, or the map boundary, which means he's going to start running out of maneuvering space relatively soon, and when he does that, he's going to close significantly and be able to be radared if he decides to drop spot. But as we saw right there, when he dropped spot that time, he was just over 9 kilometers, which means we would not be able to radar him, and he's back up at 10, but very much closing with the map boundary. So we just need to go ahead and close distance, and then hopefully our floaty shells won't be so floaty. That is, once again, one of the downsides to Worcester, is you have floaty HE shells. It is what it is. It's what you get for being able to fire over islands. Is long range isn't exactly your king. You need a large target, so these small targets, when they pop up, aren't going to do you the best. And we go ahead, finish off Shimakaze, get the 4th kill, and we're on the hunt for the Kraken, but sadly we're on the other side of the map, and we will not be getting over to the other side. So that's the Worcester, guys. Legendary tier ship. You've most likely played it. I enjoyed it. I'm currently researching it. I can't wait to get it fully. I've definitely enjoyed playing her. And yeah, I can't wait to continue to be able to play her once Wargaming takes it away. So, guys, if you like this video, go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. See ya.